Now, our Polk Award honoree tonight, U.S. Representative Virginia Foxx, knows firsthand the importance of academic rigor in higher education. She received both of her undergraduate and master's degrees from UNC Chapel Hill and her doctorate from UNC Greensboro. She taught at Caldwell Community College, was a sociology instructor at Appalachian State University, and held several administrative positions at ASU, including assistant dean of the General College. Dr. Foxx also served as Deputy Secretary for Management for Governor Jim Martin. From 1987 to 94, she served as president and later a consultant for Malin Community College in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. In that last year, 94, Virginia Foxx was elected to the North Carolina Senate. She spent 10 years in the legislature, where she successfully sponsored several statewide and local bills and consistently voted against tax increases, yes, and for legislation that would make North Carolina a better place to be. Her legislative record so impressed the voters of North Carolina's 5th Congressional District that they elected her to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2004 to succeed Richard Burr, who of course was moving on to the U.S. Senate. Now serving her 6th term in Congress, Virginia has established herself as a champion of individual freedom, limited government, and the reform of higher education. She chairs the House Education and Workforce Subcommittee on Higher Education. She serves as vice chair of the powerful House Rules Committee and secretary of the House Republican Conference. Ever since her days in the legislature, Virginia Foxx has been a great friend of the John Locke Foundation. Indeed, I am told of a recent case where a constituent went to her and complained, about the lack of sufficient unbiased coverage of state government in her local newspaper. I can't believe anybody would complain about that, but you never know who you're going to meet when you're a member of Congress. So this person said this to Virginia Foxx, and she replied, "Well, that's why you need to read Carolina Journal," which is an excellent response. She has taken on challenging issues and seemingly doomed causes. She's done so because, frankly, somebody has to. Her explanation is this: if we do not make tough decisions now, future Americans will have to make even tougher decisions. Quite right, and spoken like a true heir of North Carolina's tradition of courageous, plain-spoken leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring this year's recipient of the James K. Polk Award, Virginia Foxx.
You ask an elected official, does she want to say a few words? I am really humbled and honored to be here tonight. It's been a great program. I want to also add my thanks to the comments that have been made about Art Pope and John Hood and all the people associated with the John Locke Foundation. I do refer people on a regular basis to Carolina Journal. I read it every day. I actually get it on both of my emails so that I'm sure not to miss it. But the Locke Foundation has done so much good for the state of North Carolina, and I agree with some of the commentaries in the video that North Carolina would not be the conservative state that it is without what John Locke Foundation has done. It is my honor to serve on the John Pope Education Foundation Center, and with Governor Martin and several other wonderful folks who are here tonight. So I'm very pleased to be involved that way. I mentioned something to John and Art just before the meeting, and they asked me to relay it to you, so I'm cutting out most of my other comments to tell you this story. I said, you know, I think my very first real involvement with the Locke Foundation was right after I was elected to the General Assembly. They had a workshop on healthcare issues, and I went to it. And it was a very eye-opening experience for me. I learned there about our historic problems with healthcare, third-party payer, and other kinds of things. And it gave me a perspective I had never had. And I told John and Art, I said, I often use that information now in explaining our dilemmas with healthcare in our country. And I have learned to give some other examples, but that really made a huge difference to me as a legislator and as a member of Congress. So I want you to know that what the John Locke Foundation does, I'll get my loyalty straight here in a minute, what the Locke Foundation has done has very practical experience. It gives us practical experiences and knowledge, and the comments that were all made. So I want to thank all of you all for being here tonight, for supporting the John Locke Foundation, and I want to thank John and his colleagues on the board for giving me this award. I cherish it. Thank you very much.